It is just a huge honor to podcast interview a man I met before there was a dental time. I think we met on, my gosh, Yahoo dental groups, all kinds of things. My God, he's been at the very beginning of all things digital dentistry, internet dentistry. Dr. Med Dent Alessandro Devigus, DMD, who graduated from dental school in Zurich, Switzerland in '87, same year I did, and has been in private practice since. He's the editor-in-chief of the world-renowned European Journal of Aesthetic Dentistry and is widely published everywhere else. Digital shade taking and dentistry quintessence, the fundamentals of color quintessence, color vita in ceram, Y2K. I mean, he's just a legend. Additionally, he is a CEREC instructor at the Zurich Dental School Clinic for geriatric and special care dentistry, as well as a visiting senior lecturer at the University of Freiburg and Basel. Dr. Vegus, I got to say it, Dr. Vegus, I keep thinking of Las Vegas, and I got to think of Dave Vegus, not Las Vegas, is founder and president of the Swiss Society of Computerized Dentistry and Swiss Society of Implantology, board member and AIDR, International Association of Dental Research, and European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry, a new group member, which is amazing, an ITI fellow. He's the managing director of Our World VR Studio and has developed a workflow for developing great images with the best equipment. The system is quick, simple, and can be learned by anyone. As of 2020, he has developed a collaborative learning environment, which is based on sharing audio, video, and 3D, all in a web-based multi-user environment as demonstrated in this example. This is pioneering in the field of remote learning. The International Aesthetic Dentistry was formerly the European Journal of Aesthetic Dentistry, Quintessence Deutschland, and it's the official publication of the European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry. Now, Alessandro, are you talking about why Facebook is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, and his dad's a dentist, Ed Zuckerberg, and he's been on the show, but he paid $1 billion for that Oculus headset? Is that what you're talking about in the 3D?
That's part of it. So that's part of the 3D thing is the Oculus, but it's important. We are working with products like Unreal Engine. You know that from the movies, to create movie scenes. So we are talking about gamification of learning. I think this could also be something very interesting for Dental Town in the future. And the Oculus Quest, so these 3D glasses, they play not the major role in this. It's one option, but what we want is that people can see augmented reality, virtual reality on their smartphones, on their computers, on any device. So that's the goal. We are developing now a very interesting education system also for Ivoclar. So with augmented reality, so these things will replace our manuals, will replace the way we train people, how we present products, a lot of things. So this is the future. This is the future of digital dentistry, and not only digital dentistry, but digital technology, not only for dentists, but for all industries out there.
But just to be clear, I've heard Tim Cook of Apple talk about these Oculus Rift type devices and all that stuff. Do you think the future is going to be like, I'm going to learn how to place a new posterior composite while I'm sitting there with these Oculus Rift things
absolutely. on? But the future will be the Oculus Quest will be replaced. 2023, Apple will launch their 3D glasses, and the Apple glasses will be something like the glasses we wear, not much bigger. The computer will not be built in the glass, but in the iPhone.
Well, so, you and I are so damn old. We've been burned a couple of times. Remember when big old Google had their Google glasses?
Yeah, I know.
And so how do you know if Tim Cook's not going to be another Google Glass? Because the hype on Google Glasses was over the top, and I've never seen anyone.
The problem of Google Glasses was that there was no computer power. The computer power was not enough to really make them work on an everyday base. And now we have the latest generation of iPhones with all the scanners, with all the technology inside, and they are ready to give the power this new glass generation needs. And I'm sure we are talking in two years' time, and I'm sure that this will come. But again, it's not something that everybody will jump on immediately. That's why new technology, AR, VR, needs to be also run on every device. So most of the people, it's like when I changed now the website of my office, and I showed it to different people. And then I told them, look, where does it have to be the most beautiful layout? On the smartphone. 95% of people, if you send them a new URL of a website, they watch it on their smartphones. So this is a new way of consuming content, and we should accommodate this. Like the app you have for Dental Town, I think a lot of people, or most users, are watching Dental Town or reading Dental Town posts and comments on their smartphones, isn't it?
Dentists, we can tell when you log on Dental Town, 70,000 people have downloaded the app. Dentists love Apple. I mean, Android's got 85% of the market, but dentists are not the median income. They're very high income, and over half of them are always logging on via Apple. And Mac Rumor's website says the Apple glasses in 25, but they say Apple glasses VR, which is virtual reality, and AR, that's augmented reality. It says that he believes the mixed reality will come out this year, and the Apple glasses will come out 25. Is that what you think?
Okay. Yeah. But let's say we can oversee the next development, the next time frame. But the important thing is that I think now we should jump on this technology. And what I'm doing, I have a company with some friends, and we are working on this project. So again, for me, it's important to be on the forefront. It's a lot of fun to explore this new technology and to learn more how we can use this technology. And especially during this pandemic moved a lot of things, not only in communication. So the pandemic moved a lot of development. You can name it. It's AR, VR. The average time of meetings of big companies has dropped down from 90 minutes to 15 minutes. So companies are getting more efficient during this time.
Say that time period again. Meetings have gone from what to what?
From 90, so 1.5 hours, to 15 minutes, a quarter of an hour. So imagine how many meetings you can run a day.
So you said it's gone from 90 minutes to 15 minutes?
Yes.
Damn, that is...
No, because people meet like me. We meet online. So I say, hey, Howard, get to the point. I want to go home. I don't have time to talk to you and drink coffee and and spend too much time talking about your family. We now meet. We have a business or we have a problem to solve. Let's solve it as quick as possible and then go on. And this is how the world is changing. A lot of things will change completely. Where upstairs where we live, we have the CEO of ABB, a big company with the quarter in Switzerland. They're in electric technology. And he told us in 2019, they spent 730 million euros on flight tickets. And he told me we will never go back to this again.
Wow, that is amazing. So, and one thing I want to clarify, because you and I have been, we've had so much interest in the future of this, going all the way back to the earliest day. I mean, I remember it was when I met you on, God, what websites were we on? I think we were on Root ZX.
Yes.
Were you on Root ZX? And Generation Next.
Yes.
And Yahoo Groups. We were on several. And then what I didn't like about those is that, say I'm the first guy to ask the question, like, how do you remove a broken file in MB2? And And the dentist would just pour their hearts out explaining to you. You just thought, God, this is so cool. And then a month later, you come on and ask the same question, and everybody's like, oh, we just discussed all that. And they give you like a shorter answer. Then, like 2 months later, some guy comes on, asks the same question, and everybody's like, we already talked about that. And then that guy thinks, well, you guys don't even care. So I knew it had to be that if you're going to say something profound, like you put it in a textbook, you write an article. And I wanted these posts methodically logged and archived and all that. And so I did the message board format. And my gosh, you have been that was where I was different. Where the other social medias did LIFO, just last in, first out, more of an entertainment thing as opposed to a resource thing. But I think you're going to implement this. So specifically, what are you going to do? You got these other people. Are you going to do an augmented? What's the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality?
So augmented reality, it's easy. Augmented reality means you have a 3D object, you transfer it to your smartphone, and then you place it wherever you want. So you say, in dentistry, for example, you have a milling machine, you have a furnace, then you get it in 3D on your phone, you move your phone in the surrounding, you place it on the table, and then the object, a 3D object, is sitting on your table, and you can move around with your smartphone and watch it from all sides. And this object can be active. For example, it can be an AR object telling you how to change the water of the milling machine. Then you walk around and the water tank is moved out and replaced. So this replaces not only the manuals, so instruction manuals, it will help us teaching our staff, teach ourselves to get ready for hands-on training if needed. So I see with virtual reality and augmented reality, we will replace all these huge manuals, all this printed stuff, documentation of things will not be needed anymore. And companies will save a lot of time, a lot of money, translating all this, printing all this, sending it all out. You don't need any representatives anymore. They can sit, you can sit in your room and you can talk to anybody on the planet and tell him, look, download, pick your phone, click on this QR code, and then together we will place this machine in your office. I can give you some information, but the whole thing is self-explanating. So and this is the future. And all this will lead to much shorter and more efficient hands-on training session. At the end, we are still dentists. We need to work with our hands. Digital dentistry is all about the combination of handmade and computer-made. So the hand part for a dentist is still the key of being a successful dentist. But we can shorten the amount of time we need to invest to get the manual training. We prepare ourselves using augmented reality and virtual reality, and then I come and go to the place, not for 5 days, but for 2 days or 1 day. And for everybody, it's more efficient, less time consuming. We still have the social contact if we want, but the goal should be get the dentists or other people to a higher level before you start with the physical, with the on-site education.
Well, for me, I had to deal with this when I first opened up. I mean, I was a dentist and I had one lunch hour, and every specialist, everybody wanted to meet you during that hour. And I used to always think after it was done that, okay, I left my office at noon, I drove 10 minutes, we met at a place, we got a table, we ordered, we did this whole damn thing, and we only talked, about what the agenda was for maybe 10 minutes. And I thought, man, what a waste of 10 minutes. So I just decided in time management, you only manage people, time, money, that I'm not available for lunch. If we want to talk, let's talk. There's a phone. I don't need to smell you, see you, wonder what you eat. I don't need to pay the bill. I don't need to drive clear across town. It was just a total waste of time. And then there was one of my friends. I had a couple patients that started this company that ended up going public, and they are billionaires. One of their secret HR things is that if you loved golf, your resume was in the trash can. They're like, who? You want to go play a game, and you pick one that's 4 hours long, and usually you leave at 6 in the morning and don't get home till noon. You're going to waste half a day on a game. I mean, my gosh, you could eat Thanksgiving dinner and get married in 2 hours. I mean, what do you need to spend 6 hours for? So, so which is your which website should my homies be going to? Is it dentist.camera? Is it dentistcamera.tv? Is it magazine.dentist? .ch, which stands CH stands for
you can
Switzerland.
go to you can go to dentist.camera or dentistcamera.tv. Both of them. So one is the magazine, one is the online magazine. The other one is like the community platform with information. And then related to this, I have my Instagram account with now more than 60,000 followers.
And what are you on Instagram? What are you called?
Dentist.camera. It's all the same. It's my YouTube channel. It's my Instagram channel. It's my Facebook. It's my website. It's dentist.camera. Everything is the same.
Dentist.camera. I am there. I'm a follower. Oh my God, 60,000 followers. You are an amazing man. But like I say, you've been at this before it even existed. I mean, gosh, I think when we met, we didn't even have cell phones, did we? I had a Nokia, but it was just a Textil. So exactly. So what am I looking at? So your goal is to the difference between augmented reality, which is a technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view, whereas virtual reality is computer-generated simulation of a three-dimensional image or environment that can be interacted with in a seemingly real or physical way by a person using special electronic equipment such as a helmet with a screen inside or glove-fitted sensors. So you're going to be, which one of those? You're going to be...
Both.
Both. All right, leave it to Alessandro to just go for both.
No, go for both, but augmented reality is the thing that will be more available to the masses earlier. Virtual reality will take a little bit longer, but in virtual reality, the key word is gamification of learning. So what you see, you might have realized that in this huge gaming arenas, gaming events have been, they're a professional gamer and they're not using glasses. They're not using 3D glasses because there's one problem or one issue. If you wear the 3D glasses for several hours and playing a virtual game, a 3D game, you might get sick.
Because like motion sickness and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the gamers use huge screens. They're sitting in these special chairs and they're gaming in front of TV screens. And you know why? Because then they can share it more easily with the audience. Maybe you have seen these gaming conferences with 20, 30,000 people watching these young kids playing whatever games. And these guys gaming make a huge amount of money just gaming, and people watching them when they gaming.
Well, when I first saw the augmented reality, I asked any of my sons if anyone wanted it. Dad would pay for it because I wanted to check it out. One of my sons, Ryan, said, "I'll do it." So he went and bought it. It was the Oculus Rift. It was $1,000, and I remember putting it on the first thing, and I thought, this is why I love being a dentist, because, they built the pyramids 5,000 years ago, but they didn't write down anything about it, how or what, and geometry didn't start till 2,500 years ago. And when you become a dentist, you have to learn the basics. I mean, science, the language of science of the universe, the universal language is math. And then the official language between the scientists talking about math is English. And we learn math, physics, chemistry, and biology, just the four pillars of what we know to this day. And I don't think anybody had a biology course, because when you cover up your whole vision, your amygdala is going to freak out because you don't know if someone's going to walk in the room, rob you, shoot you. You take it off later, and your house is gone. I remember one time, But anyway, so I thought that was going to be a pitfall, but that it'd probably only take off if you were safe in your home.
The whole thing of virtual reality is growing. It's not just limited to the use of any glasses or any fancy devices. Virtual reality is coming to all devices, and this is the goal, to bring it to the masses. And for example, the last big thing we are working on, it was released just 2 or 3 days ago, is MetaHumans by Unreal Engine, MetaHumans. This is amazing. This is amazing how you can create life-like human beings, modify them in all aspects. And there's a fancy phone app. The phone app is called, Lifelink Face. And the Lifelink Face app, if you have an iPhone 10 or newer, scans your face. You record yourself with this. It creates a mesh on your face. And if you're talking, all your movements, lifting your eyebrows, all your emotions, your mimic will be recorded and transferred to the MetaHuman. And the MetaHuman is acting like you. And I will record in the next weeks, I will record a lecture, and the MetaHuman is talking.
Wow, that is too cool for school. And that's from Unreal Engine?
Yes.
Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine is such a crazy company, and they're really doing a lot for the movie industry. So this Unreal Engine is used for cinematic things all over the world.
So your goal is to so the name of your company is going to be Our World VR Studio. Is that the name of it?
Yes.
And when do you think this will start rolling out?
We will start with the photography app, which will roll out in the next month.
Wow!
Very, very soon. You will be amazed. I've seen the prototype and played around with it. How realistic all this is, and how much fun it's to learn technology using this Unreal Engine stuff and this gamification style. So this will be implemented in the dentist.camera website, available for members. But we are also working on an app with different modules to learn not only dental photography, but all type of photography. So this will be a real cool thing, running on PC, Mac, and on 3D glasses.
And do they need to download that app from the App Store? Do they need to?
No, the prototype will be web-based, so run on the server. But then there will be the more sophisticated, the more complex thing will be an app that you can download to your PC, to your Mac, or to your Oculus.
And are they still calling it Oculus? Wasn't it Oculus Rift?
Oculus Rift is a predecessor. The latest one is the Oculus Quest 2.
And that's from Facebook, Oculus Quest 2?
Yeah.
So you think
the Rift was the first, then the Oculus Quest, and now the Oculus Quest 2. So that's the latest generation of Oculus.
Amazing. Okay, Oculus Rift was first, and now it's what? Oculus what?
Oculus Quest 2.
Quest 2. So do you like the direction Facebook is going? It looks like Oculus and Apple are going to war with this user identity privacy. And Apple, it looks to me that Steve Jobs was saying long before I even knew who Tim Cook was, that the individual should have the right to set his own privacy settings. And but their next move, where it's in the equipment and the software, Apple, it's really going to hurt Facebook's use of targeting ads. Because if I go to a website, like I just went to, these Oculus Rift and the one you just told me about, which was Unreal Engine, and on my iPhone, Facebook would not know that. But if I had my settings on, then I'd be setting myself up for a bunch of targeted ads from Unreal Engine. What do you make of this Rift and where it's going? No pun intended.
So you mean the competition between Facebook and Apple?
Yeah.
So there's place for both. So I had a discussion before we started this podcast with a young guy who's a great online marketing guy from Bulgaria, who's really smart and active on social media. And we discussed Facebook. Facebook makes one mistake, trying to do everything. So trying to be the platform for everything, and therefore losing, from my point of view, losing attraction. They have a large base, but they have a large base of more and more inactive users. So what I see, it's I see the most interesting platform also for dentists is Instagram. The second most interesting platform for dentists is YouTube. And Facebook is the happy birthday channel. The concept of trying to do too many things at a time made a lot of people being less active on Facebook than on other social media. And I always state one interesting comment. Many years ago, our older son told me, the day his grandfather sent him a friendship request was the day he decided to leave Facebook.
Well, time management is everything. And I always tell dentists out here, I can't believe it. You always find dentists, they want to learn one thing, and the only way they could learn it is a drive to the airport, fly across the country, stay in a resort for 3 days, drop $3,000, and then when they come back, you're at a bar and you're like, okay, take out a fresh, clean napkin and just I'm going to take notes. Just tell me what you learned that you did know before you left. And they're hard pressed to tell me anything. And I always think, my God, you could have gone on YouTube and just Googled that and watched, unlimited. I know several people. One of the greatest implantologists in town, he just came home every night and Googled dental implant surgery on YouTube and watched it for an hour instead of watching ESPN. And in a year, he was placing, 15 implants a month. So doing things faster, easier, higher quality, lower price, smaller, it's just obvious. And when the pandemic came out and all of a sudden Dental Town doubled in size and importance and growth because everybody was sitting home and they're like, what the hell are we supposed to do? So it just exploded. And my gosh, I just thought, you can do everything faster. We're all learning about this pandemic. We're all learning about the virus and nobody's left home.
The only downside, the only danger of online learning is if it's unfiltered online learning. I discussed it with Pascal Magnier. We discussed Facebook University. This for me as editor-in-chief of a scientific journal is something that we have to be careful with. If young people are watching on Facebook or on social media, surgical treatments or any other treatments without any scientific background, do they really know if this is valuable information? Is this state of the art? And this is the problem I see when you focus too much on social media as your main source of education. So for me, the evidence-based dentistry is based on scientific knowledge, which from my point of view, there's a huge mistake. All dental schools or universities or whatever in all countries on the world is, they tell us you have to base your decision on scientific knowledge. Who has access to this scientific knowledge? Only a small number. So do you want to subscribe to all these journals? Who would pay? What journals do you need to subscribe? How do you know if the article you're reading is really of clinical value? It's not easy. It's really not easy. And I think there's a huge demand on good people telling us where is the evidence and how can we use the evidence, and also maybe become like, and we should, like, what I wanted to do is to create an editorial board for social media content that, you know, if you watch a YouTube video, if you watch a clinical documentation on Facebook or on other channels, that it's approved by an editorial board, that it is peer reviewed. So this is something that is important, because otherwise it's unfiltered information, and maybe some guy is showing videos that never do an endo treatment on a premolar. And this is something, for example, that happened in Italy. So they prefer to extract premolars because everybody tells them, look, the first premolar has 2 roots. It's very difficult to do an endo treatment. Why do an endo treatment? Extract it, place an implant. And so it's also dangerous if you trust too much on content coming from unknown sources.
Well, I have to, and there's a lot of, with humans, it's always a multivariate. It's always a very complex deal. It's pretty easy if you're driving a car and it's forward, reverse, left, right, up, down. But when these third-party insurance companies, like in Japan, France, and England, give these dentists $100 for a molar root canal. I mean, they told me, I did podcasts live from Tokyo and Paris and London, and they said, I can't do it. If you want to use your insurance, I got to extract the tooth and do an implant in the crown because they don't.
I have to really interfere with that.
Yeah.
If you are a dentist, you're a doctor, you have to follow ethical standards. And if somebody tells me I have to extract a tooth because I'm not paid for the root canal, he should stop immediately being a dentist. This makes me really totally angry. This makes me angry. Then you have the wrong profession. You have the wrong profession. If you judge or you select your treatment only based on the money you get for the treatment, then go out, go to work in a bar, do whatever you want, but stop being a dentist. No, this really makes
I agree, but what percent of dentists in London, Paris, and Tokyo, 3 of the greatest civilizations that ever existed, are doing that today? What percent of the dentists in London, Paris, and Tokyo make that decision to extract the tooth every day?
Yeah, but this is
right. But it's huge. It's thousands of people, and I had long conversations with. And Japanese people are very quiet, to themselves, reserved. It's really hard, but they'll tell you. They say, I don't understand it. The land's $1 million a square meter. They drive here in a $50,000 Honda. And when it comes to their human body, they're like, oh, that's not my concern. The government takes care of that, and they don't want to be involved. And your government's going to give me $100. And to do this root canal, like it's done in Switzerland and America, would cost $1,000. And I'm going to get $100. And the patient just look at him like, well, that's your problem, not mine. And then the government doesn't set the fee in clear aligners, Invisalign, or implants. And those are why only those 2 areas, clear aligners and Invisalign, are both growing double-digit growth, as opposed to everything else just goes with the economy. Maybe if the economy is going up, it'll go 1.5% higher. If the economy is going down, maybe it'll contract 1.5% faster. But the only things growing are the 2 things the government, the insurance company didn't set the fee on. And you see the same thing in rent control, when every time a politician says, these rents are going up too high, I'm going to freeze all the rents. Then the business is dead. No one invests in renting. So it's so tough. I mean, the number 1 complaint on dentistry is always dental insurance companies. But the answer to that is, well, then drop your insurance companies and just be like Oculus Rift. When I bought Oculus Rift, I got out my credit card. I paid $1,000 cash. I didn't have some government subsidize it. And it's just so complex. Then you go to the countries.
Maybe more countries have to go to the Swiss regulation. Dentistry is not covered by any insurance because every patient has it in his or her hands to clean the teeth, to take care of their teeth, to avoid any dental treatment. And our insurance system covers all things that are related to any illness, to birth defects, to genetic issues. This is covered. If somebody has a dental problem, not by his or her fault, then the insurance covers it. Otherwise, if you have a cavity, it's not the fault of the dentist, it's the fault of the patient in 99% of the cases. And so we tell people, look, if you have a cavity, you have to fix the tooth on your own cost. And this motivates people more to take care of. It's like you buy an expensive jacket. You take care of that jacket because you want this to last as long as possible. Why not take care of your teeth? So the system that encourages people to take care of their dental health is the way to go. Pay for prevention. So we support in Switzerland. If you go to school, the dental check is paid by the school, let's say, or by the public, from taxes or whatever. So we motivate people to make prevention, to take care of their teeth, and avoid dental treatments. And this should be extended also to other medical fields. But there's a huge, let's say, in Europe we like the word mafia. There's a huge mafia who doesn't want that we live healthy. Because if everybody would live healthy, a lot of companies would not make money anymore. A lot of companies are making money of our defects, of our not being healthy status. And this includes also the teeth. And that's why some governments then create these regulations of say, okay, a root canal treatment is 100. And you know how they do it. They ask dentists, how much time do you take for this treatment? And that's how in Switzerland, the price model is based on research, on surveys done by almost all dentists in Switzerland, asking them, how long does it take to do a one surface composite filling? And then you tell them, okay, my average time or the average time of all dentists that have been asked about this, they tell, okay, I need 45 minutes. Let's say 45 minutes. Okay, then we start the calculation. 1 hour dental treatment is $200 or $250. So 45 minutes goes down to $160, $180, and then you find fair prices to a given treatment. And if you tell me in Japan, they say, okay, we pay you 100. So this is that they have asked dentists, and there must have been a large number of dentists telling the government, oh, root canal, okay, that's a 5-minute job. And based on this, they cut down the price.
Yeah, dental insurance is my God, it's everybody's.
Yeah, because if you tell them I get not too much, I get not enough, I have to work quicker. So if you give me $30, I have to do it in 5 minutes. And then you start doing it in 5 minutes, the quality goes down. And then they come and say, oh, okay, now you're doing it in 5 minutes, I pay you only 10. But at a certain point, you cannot do it quicker, So you cannot do it in 1 minute. And this is the thing that the dentist should then go to the insurance company and say, look, if I want to do a good root canal treatment, if I want to do a good procedure X, Y, Z, it takes 1 hour. And what are you paying me for 1 hour of my work? And this should be the way. The other way, you are always adapting to the cut the insurance company is giving you. They cut down from 100 to 50. So the consequence is the dentist say, okay, now I have to do the same treatment in half the time to make the same amount of money. And in all these systems worldwide, in all countries applying these systems, the quality of dental treatment, of medical treatment is dramatically going down.
And then you add on the incentive that they're coming out in America, $400,000 in student loan debts. And the Constitution says I have the right to declare bankruptcy, but I can't bankrupt my student loans. And it scares a lot of us old guys that, you know, if you have a $7,000 a month student loan payment you got to make, and my granddaughter comes in and all she needs is a large filling, but your brain is saying, nah, that's only a couple $100. I need $1,000 crown. It scares me. Incentives matter. And it's really easy for a bunch of rich people to sit around and say, oh, I would never do that. And it's like, yeah, you're rich, but if you get poor enough, I mean, look at American history. I mean, every time a covered wagon got lost in the mountains of blizzards, they turned into cannibals. So, you know, at some point, when you think you're so morally righteous, you could turn into a cannibal if your conditions changed. I mean, right?
Absolutely. But at a certain point, you have to make a decision and say, I quit this job. The problem in dentistry is there's an unhappiness in a given job all around the world. And it depends on what business you're working in. It starts from 5%, goes up to 50% and more of unhappy people in a given job. So there are also unhappy dentists. But how many dentists do you know who quit their job and became carpenters or opened a bar or became caddies on a golf course or whatever? How many do you know? I know one or two guys who really quit their job and became, most of them I know became psychologists.
Really?
Yes, because this is very close. Dentists are a large part of dentists are talking to their patients. And if you communicate with your patients, you don't get depressive. So there's a lot of people, especially in America, talking about the dark side of dentistry. And I think the problem of this high rate of depression or problems or burnouts is twofolded. On one side, you graduate with a lot of debt on your shoulders. So you feel the pressure of pushing your patients to unnecessary treatments. And on the other hand, you don't talk, you don't communicate. So you imagine, even if you are in touch with 20 people a day, and then you have your staff, so you see 30 people a day, but you still are alone. You don't communicate. Then you can even get depressive being in the middle of a large group of people. If the only things you're doing, does it hurt? Please rinse, open your mouth, ringing the bell that your assistant is coming in. Then if your communication is limited to a few words, imagine at home, your wife would only say, hi, Howard, is the food good? Do you want a beer? What do we want? What do we watch on TV? And these would be the whole phrases she would repeat every day. You would go crazy and she would go crazy, you know?
Right.
And this is...
Yeah, go ahead. Crazy times, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your solution going to be?
Spend more time talking to your patient, and don't think if I talk for 5 minutes with the patient, it's 5 minutes that I didn't make money. Because you do the 5 minutes to clean yourself, to get to avoid becoming depressive. So you are more efficient. You're more efficient if you spend time communicating with your patient. So at the end, it's a 1 hour session, and you should not say, wow, I talked 10 minutes to the patient. I only have 50 minutes left. So try to be efficient in your work, and then you can catch up. So, for example, I do the anesthesia, and the minutes the anesthesia is getting effective, I spend this time to communicate with my patients, talking to them, making them more comfortable. And this makes also myself more comfortable, knowing, and then they start saying, I have these back pain problems, or I have this, I have that. And then you get them a little bit distracted. They're more relaxed, and then you can be also more efficient in your work. If you have a relaxed patient in your chair who is confident what you're doing, you're much more efficient in your work.
So basically, but regards to you, and I mean, and it's been just a blast watching you for 3 decades. It really has. So you're going to apply your knowledge of all things dentistry and the internet to educating dentists how to do dentistry faster, easier, higher quality, lower priced, smaller, with augmented reality and virtual reality?
Yes, that's my goal.
That's your goal. And what subjects are you going to teach?
So we will start with my hobby, which is photography, the documentation, and then go on with my second hobby, CAD/CAM dentistry. So, you know, CEREC and all the other systems that are on the market. So the digital workflow in the office is the second big thing.
Because what's the second best thing? You said dental photography.
Dental photography, and then CAD/CAM dentistry. So digital dentistry, but starting with CAD/CAM. So CEREC and all these other CAD/CAM systems out there, because I'm really surprised that after 30 years of CAD/CAM dentistry, only I think a max of 5% worldwide are using an intraoral scanner.
What percent worldwide?
5%. In Switzerland, we have the highest diffusion of intraoral scanners, and we are around 20%.
In Switzerland, 20% of the dentists use a CAD/CAM.
20 to 25, depending on the region in Switzerland. In Zurich, it's 25 or even more. In other regions, it's a bit less. But we're talking the country where CEREC was developed. And worldwide, if you calculate the number of intraoral scanners that have been sold so far, it's max 5%. So why are 95% still not using this technology?
Okay, first of all, I want to check your numbers. You said in Switzerland, 25% of the dentists uses CAD/CAM, but
Yes.
worldwide, it's less than 5%.
Yes.
How many dentists do you think are worldwide? That's
2 million.
How many?
2 million.
Good, man. We have the exact same number in my mind. Some number. I mean, you can't even Google how many towns are in the United States, because there's towns, cities. The definitions are insane. But I agree, there's 2 million dentists. So let's talk about first the adoption rate. I mean, Röntgen invented radiography, and dentists weren't interested. I mean, even Thomas Edison, when he saw what was happening with the cancer and his hand rotting off and his assistants, he didn't even touch it. But then years later, the first dental insurance company rolled out in the United States for the Longshoremen's Union, and they covered X-rays at 100%, and boom, all the dentists got it. Digital X-rays came out, and it was slow, but I mean, the adoption rate is off the charts. Same with practice management, computer system versus charts. But here in America, that CAD/CAM's been out since the day I graduated. I graduated in '87, about my first CEREC 1 in like 1990. And it only has about a 12% adoption rate. So let's talk about that first. It's a rich country. The dentists have the money. Why do you think 88% of the dentists said, I'll pass?
It's very easy, because they delegate. The average dentists are lazy, and they love to delegate as much work as possible to their assistants or to anybody. To the lab, to the dental assistants, to any person that is in the office and can give them a hand. I'm maybe exaggerating, but this explains. So if you think you give the injection, you start prepping the tooth, And then you go out of the room, and then your dental assistant take over. She takes the impression, she does the temporary, she takes the shade, she fills out all the forms to send all to the lab, gives a new appointment to the patient. That's it. And if you charge the dental fee for all this treatment, and we see that especially in orthodontics, orthodontists are delegating a lot of work and charging dental fee for work that is done by dental assistants. We have to be, we know this, And I don't care what they are doing, but they are cheating their patients. And this is what I don't like. And as long as dentists are delegating work, it's cheaper than making the effort of the investment, learning it, and doing it by yourself. So I think this is the limiting factor, that delegating work is still common, and it's much cheaper than applying this new technology into your office.
So you're seeing market segmentation where, I mean, obviously a Mercedes costs more than a Ford. And right now the dentists are fighting in the United States as dental therapists where it's a assistant or hygienist. You know, they fought dental hygiene really hard. They didn't want any hygienists coming in cleaning teeth, and then that happened. Now they're trying to do it with dental therapists for basic fillings and extractions. And so you're defining a high-end market. How big do you think the high-end market could be in the United States if a dentist did all the work himself and didn't use the fee schedule of the insurance companies and said, I'm going to charge what I feel a Mercedes-Benz dental restoration is worth? How big do you think that market is in the US or Switzerland or Germany or France?
Okay, in Switzerland, this is the way we work. So this is the way we work. We have created guidelines by ourselves, so defining to not over-exaggerate, but at the end I can charge whatever I want. If the patient accepts, I can charge whatever I want for my treatment. So many times, and also in Switzerland, we have more people suffering not only from the pandemic, but we have more, the gap is opening up also in Switzerland, having more poor people. A lot of families where a woman needs to raise the children by herself. Families that get divorced, and at the end in a divorce, I don't know how it's in America, but in Switzerland, if a couple gets divorced, at the end both parties are poor. They had a certain amount of money, they could make a good living, but if they get separated, then we have two parties that are poor. And then we have more and more people like that needs financial support. And for them, dental treatment is expensive. And in a lot of situations, you have to find a deal. So one of the things our oldest son was telling me, that the whole world is a deal. Everything is based on deals. Your relation with your wife, your work you're doing, everything is deals. Smaller deals, bigger deals, but you have to make deals. At the end, the good deal is when both parties are happy with it. And sometimes if I see that the patient is struggling, I ask a very simple question. How much is it worth to you? How much is this tooth? Maybe, let's say we talk about an implant. And the patient say, yeah, but and then I tell him, okay, give me a number. How much do you think this treatment is worth to you? And then some people wait and there's no answer. And other people say, look, it's worth what you told me it costs, or my budget is $500 less than what you told me. Then you might negotiate or tell people you can pay it in several rates, not all the money in one time. So there are many options. So dentists should also learn to do more marketing. And I always thought the Americans are are great in doing marketing in their dental offices and not just complaining about the insurance companies not paying enough money for them. So I know a lot of successful dentists in the States, and I don't think that these successful dentists I know work with any insurance companies. They make it private.
Yeah.
Because they charge. So I tell my patients, if they ask me, but I go to this, I go to Hungary, I go to Poland, I go to whatever country because it's much cheaper than in Switzerland. Then I tell them, yeah, okay. If you want to go to a high quality dentist, the fees are not that. There's not much different in the fees of the high class dentists worldwide. I know dentists from South Italy who charge more than I charge, and they live in a poor part of Italy, but they are high quality dentists. They deliver great work, and they tell people, look, great work needs also an effort from your side to pay for that great work.
Yeah. And just if you're wondering, the wealth of the country lives in Switzerland. Luxembourg's number one with a median income of 42. Norway's number 2 at 36. Switzerland, where you're at, is 36. The United States is right behind you at 35. Canada, 33. But even in a market of, of that size, I mean, Switzerland has 8 million people. You're always going to find many markets segmented. They'll segment on price. They segment on all kinds of things, but one of them is price. And some people just value things higher than others. But
it's up to you to attract the customers or the patients you want. It's not that you can say, okay, now I charge 10,000 for an implant, and you say, why is nobody coming to my office? So that's not the way it works. So you have to show that you're doing some efforts, and then there's the word of mouth, and then you can establish a brand, you can establish a quality label, and people coming to you, trusting in you, and accepting maybe also a little higher fee than the average would pay. So this is, I think, we are businessmen also in this context. But again, we are businessmen, but we are also doctors, and don't forget the doctor part. So I don't know how it is in the States. If a patient shows up in my clinic with a huge abscess, I have to treat him. I have to extract the tooth, even if he tells me, I don't have money, doctor, and I cannot pay you. You cannot send the patient home. You have to treat him because, again, also dentist, and I feel myself also being a doctor of teeth and the mouth. I'm a doctor of the mouth. I'm not a dentist. And this is, I don't know how you see it in the States, but I feel myself as being a doctor whose focus is to treat the oral health of my patients in the first step.
What I love the most about Switzerland is their big red flag. But my gosh, and I know that Americans, I always hear it in their talking, they always confuse Switzerland. But how would you help them remember the difference between Sweden and Switzerland? Because they sound the same. They both start with SW. I mean, Americans can't name all 50 states.
There's two things. You know Rolex?
Yeah.
Rolex is Switzerland.
Okay.
The Matterhorn, Swiss banks. So Switzerland is in the center of Europe. So put your finger in the center of Europe. It's above Italy. It's below Germany. On the left side, we have France. On the right side, we have Austria. And Sweden is up north. Sweden is ABBA. You know, the famous group ABBA. There's a lot of industry. There's the reindeers. Sweden is great for other things. Sweden is IKEA. IKEA is Sweden.
Sweden is IKEA and also Royal Caribbean cruise lines. Don't they make the cruise ships?
Yes, and Volvo, the car. even though Volvo has been sold to a Chinese company, as many other companies now belong to Chinese.
Well, I'll tell you what, I never felt more dumb in my life when the first time I ever lectured in Switzerland, this adorable man picks me up at the airport. He's driving back, and I see this massive mountain, and I'm staring at it, and I go, God, that looks just like the Matterhorn at Disneyland. And he looks at me like, oh my God, he's an American. He goes, that is the Matterhorn. And I'm like, really? That was made after a real mountain? I just thought it was some Disney made up thing. And God, those guys are such class acts. But he must have thought Americans were dumber than a rock. And then when he heard my lecture, he knew it was true. But oh my God, that Matterhorn was just gorgeous. But I'm gonna get. I can't believe we've already gone over an hour, and I want to keep you as long as it takes. But so I just want to get. I'm really excited about your new technology because you've been calling technology the future of technology, right? I mean, you even convinced me to do a message board format because I was saying I didn't like the email format. I also didn't like it clogging up my inbox. I mean, some mornings back then in the 80s, you'd open up your email and have like 5 gazillion emails, and then you couldn't find the one your mom sent you. But so you're going to use, so let me get this right. So you're going to focus, where's my notes on this? You're going to focus first on dental photography and CAD/CAM dentistry, and right now, what do you have courses on there right now? I mean, if they went to Dentist Camera or Dentist Camera TV or
so
magazine.
Actually, during the pandemic, we're focusing on online training, online education. But if you go to the website, we are organizing a dental photography conference that we are now postponing to next year. It was supposed to be last year. We postponed it to this year, and we will postpone it to next year. But this year, there will be some amazing news regarding virtual reality and augmented reality training related not only to dental photography. So I think you have to stay tuned for some exciting things to come very soon.
Well, let's get an update on that. Dentists always want an update. So the pandemic, give us an update on the pandemic. In America, a quarter of the whole population is fully vaccinated with both shots. There's about 330 million people, and they've done over 100 million doses. And so all the dentists see the light at the end of the tunnel. The traffic is back like it was. Everybody I know, including myself, that's had both shots, they're done with the mask. I mean, it really looks like it's rapidly coming back together. But we hear around the world about variants and all that. Give us an update on Switzerland and in Europe and how that's affecting dentistry.
Okay, Switzerland is opening up, although the numbers are slightly increasing. We are a little bit slower than other countries with vaccination, but we also see let's say a light at the end of the tunnel. But we all have to be aware that 130 countries in the world have done not one vaccination to their people. So the poor countries, there are three main problem regions worldwide: Brazil, India, and Malaysia, where we have large populations which are not protected and where the virus will spread in a amazing speed. So we went from 2 million deaths to 3 million deaths caused by Corona in 2 months. So in the last 2 or 3 months, 1 million people died. So this is people always rely on statistics. We have a country with a great healthcare system, so we can manage some of even the bad going coronavirus infections. But what about the poor countries? They are really there, and we are not really helping them, and we are not helping them as we ever did. So I like all these green activists doing their demonstration in rich countries, but they would never go for 3 months to Africa and watch this baby dying without food. You know, there's a lot of injustice around the world, but can we as individual persons really change anything? I think the governments need to change, the big companies need to change. At the end, the problem is, for example, antibiotics. It's a huge topic. More and more bacteria get resistant to all antibiotics we have at our disposal. Why are the pharma companies not investing more efforts to develop new antibiotics? You know why?
Why?
Because there's a rule in a pandemic situation. Any country can tell the pharma company to give them their patents that they can reproduce the medication for the resolution, for solving the pandemic problems. Would you invest money in developing a product that you know that in the case of crisis, what also would give you the possibilities to sell a little bit more, even at a lower price, then they take it away from you and you don't make any money anymore. So you have still the company with all your employees, but the government says, no, now we do it by ourselves. And so the WHO is negotiating with all these big pharma companies to find solutions to this problem. It's not an issue with the COVID vaccination because it's not so easy to copy paste COVID mRNA vaccinations. So even if Moderna and Pfizer would give their patents to anybody, it's not just a 5-minute job to reproduce these vaccines. But it's easier to reproduce headache medication or antibiotics, which is from the build up from the configuration, an easier medication.
So, I mean, I hate to, I mean, I know this, that 3 billion people dying is horrible, but put it in perspective, World War I killed 20 million people, World War II killed 75 million people, and COVID-19 has killed 3 million people, and that was what I like the most about this pandemic. I would much rather get attacked by another species than when everybody starts killing everybody in the house. It's like, you know, when you look in the rearview mirror of life, they think there's humans are 200,000 years old. They think about 108 million have already lived and died. And 98.5% of all the species have gone extinct. And I mean, we've only been here 200,000 years. And you can see, you know, the last thing humans need to do is start killing each other. I mean, God, we have viruses and eukaryotes and prokaryotes and fungi and those freaking rocks that come out of nowhere and asteroids and supernovas exploding. And we've already lived through 6 mass extinction level events where 95% or more of everyone died. And I'm just so damn glad that it was another team coming after us, because I think when viruses attack humans, it will absolutely pull us together and make us stronger. I mean, every animal does it. You go to Africa and those beasts, when they see the lions come, they form a circle and they put the women and children in the middle, just like on the Titanic. The women and children get the boats first because, guys, I don't know if you figured this out yet, but all you do is pollinate with gametes. Any idiot can do that. The women are incubators, and the children are going to replace you when you die. So the only thing that matters is the women and the children. You probably only need about 5 guys to fertilize the whole planet. But again, I'm just so excited that it was another species. There was some damn virus that was here before we existed, will be here after we exist. And I was listening this morning to this guy explain at a PhD level of how this messenger RNA technology is going to go after HIV and cancer, and that these are going to be the most exciting 5 years.
Absolutely. The pandemic helped a technology that is developed over the last 30 years. mRNA technology started in the 80s. and it got now the push caused by this pandemic that it needs, and it will help us to solve many other health problems. A lot of other diseases might be controlled by this new technology, and this is for me the exciting news. That's not the downside. So the pandemic changed the world, but changed it from my point of view. It will change it to a better world, we will never go back to the old normal. We will go back to a new normal, and there will be a lot of changes. We had the time to rethink a lot of things. I always tell people in 2019, is the word decadence in English?
Yes.
No?
Decadence.
So, yes. So we were in a world where also in our fields, I always tell people we established like a Cirque du Soleil. So people traveling around, showing up, it was not healthy. And I think this virus was. I'm Catholic. I'm not. I'm not citing the Bible now, but I think this was sent from somewhere out there to let us know that we should stop doing certain things, and that we should rethink what are the basic things that are important for the humankind. For the humankind is really stay together. You cited it when you say, what are the animals doing if they are in danger? They get together, they help each other. So it's about sharing love, sharing passion, helping each other. And if we would do this more, I think we could easily create a better world. But now there are, again, tendencies that there's separation. China goes that way, Russia goes the other way, America goes another way, the rest of the world goes another way. And if we don't manage to get the people on one table and discuss about a future that is beneficial to all of us, well, I don't know. So
well,
I'll
end on this note, and that is, my gosh, I started lecturing in 1990, and it took a damn pandemic to get me off the road. 30 years of lecturing, and now everybody's opening back up, and they want me to come lecture again. But by going to 50 countries around the world, the dentists and sleeping in their homes and meeting their people and eating their food and going to their services, the people are just fine. They're just the most loving people in the world. I am so optimistic, and in every country, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And like the Soviet Union, I grew up, it was this massive thing, but one man can't lead a country as big as the Soviet Union, and he couldn't get everybody on the same page, and that thing crumbled from within. This last 4 years, you've seen the vulnerabilities that America could easily crumble from within. And when I go to China, I mean, my gosh, when you go to Hong Kong, they don't even think they're Chinese. They're Cantonese. Taiwan doesn't think they're part of it. Tibet doesn't. China is several different tribes, and I don't care how hard that they try. One person couldn't lead 1,300,000,000 people when they each have an iPhone if you had to. In fact, I wish people would look at free enterprise. The biggest corporations in the world only have like 1 million employees. I don't think there should be a city population bigger than the largest free enterprise city, because if the best person in free enterprise can only manage 1 million, well, then go look at LA with 3.5 million. I mean, there's several areas of just complete broken down, mismanaged. Then you look at this mayor, and it's like, well, this guy's couldn't equip to run, Walmart or any big company like that. And I think that when Jobs put the touch screen, the internet, the phone, when he put everything in this one device in 2007, I said 100 years after that, you won't even recognize the planet. Every single human has what Neil Armstrong had when he stepped on the moon. And now everybody stepping on the world has it, and they have so much information. They're all connected by themselves, their family, their tribe. I mean, I don't think government has a chance. I mean, they're going to have to get their shit together, or they'll be eliminated. I mean, and I don't mean violent. I just mean, what happens when no one pays their taxes or pays attention to this mob that says, if you don't give me half your money, you're going to go to jail. It's like, whatever. I mean, I am so optimistic that technology is going to propel Homo sapien, and it's the last chance. I mean, I don't know why we call ourselves Homo sapien. There's no other homos. I mean, Homo erectus is gone, Homo Neanderthal, habilis. I mean, every Homo is gone extinct except us. And it's down to us, and 98.5% of everything in the rearview mirror didn't make it. And I think the education is going to make this crystal clear. Everybody gets it. And it might take longer than we thought. It might be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But I am totally optimistic. And I just want to say that, my gosh, it was so fun to have you come on. I've been seeing your name since, on the internet, and just exciting times. And I think what you're doing, we went from email groups to social media, and now you're playing with virtual reality and augmented reality, and anything I can help you do to grow. I'd rather help my friend Devigus than Las Vegas. And thank you for all you've already done in dentistry for 30 years, and I bet, like the song says, you ain't seen nothing yet. Who sang that song? You ain't seen nothing yet?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. I don't know who it was, but it was a great song. And, was it Rolling Stones?
I think so.
Okay, I just, my last Google, song, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Or?
Bachman Turner Overdrive. You ain't seen nothing yet. I met a devil woman. She took my heart away, but she said I had it coming to me. But anyway, my gosh, you ain't seen nothing yet. And the best years are ahead of Sapien. And so if there's anything I can ever do to help you with your vision or whatever on this side of the pond over in North America, let us know. And best of luck to your new venture.
Absolutely. Thank you for this great support over all these years. I really appreciate our friendship. I call you my friend, Howard. You're my friend. Even though we should someday we need to meet physically and have a glass of wine together, for sure.
Well, pick the Matterhorn, either the one in your country or the one in Disneyland. Either one, I'll meet you there.
Yeah. No, this is my goal. This is my goal.
All right. Have a good day. What time is it there? It's 1 p.m. here.
10 o'clock in the evening.
Well, it's past your bedtime, so.
Yeah. I will go have a last glass of wine and then go to bed because I have to get up early tomorrow and go back and run my office.
All right. Well, have a good evening, buddy. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.